Undue influence and financial elder abuse are most likely to occur by somebody close. That's right, a caregiver, a family member, a child, a spouse, a neighbor, a friend. All of these people who normally we would say love us and would never hurt us actually are more likely to commit this horrific act of undue influence for their own financial gain or some kind of financial abuse than anybody else.
Welcome to Gavels Down, Voices Up, where we flip the script on conventional legal discussions. I'm Rachel King, here to guide you through the murky waters of family law, estate conflicts, inheritance disputes, all of the dramas. We're not just talking about law, we're talking about how it affects your life, your rights, your future, and your money. From the courtroom to your living room, we bring you insights that matter. Dive into each episode ready to challenge, learn, and grow. Ready to change the dialogue? Let's begin. Gavels down, voices up.
Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have the situation where grandma gets scammed by some AI technology overseas and sends a whole bunch of money because they thought grandson or granddaughter was in jail. Yeah, that happens. And that's really sad. And it's hard. But it is less common than getting screwed by a caregiver or a child or a friend or family member. That's awful. I can honestly say, as a mom, the thought that one of my three beautiful children who I've poured my whole heart and soul and life into then abusing me or trying to take advantage of me when I'm old. Oh, please. I hope that doesn't happen. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about some of the indicators that can be helpful to be aware of earlier rather than later. If we know what to look for and we can get in proactively, that can really help stop damage and keep grandma safe. The typical abuse when you hear of abuse is like punching in the face, right? Hitting. And that does happen periodically. Every now and then I get a case where somebody is physically abusing grandma. Oftentimes it's associated with some other kind of cognitive impairment where frustration starts to build. And instead of taking frustration or respite care to handle the frustration appropriately, it ends up getting taken out physically. I've seen this where somebody's trying to get grandma dressed and they're just so frustrated with grandma that they pull her arm a little too hard to try and get it into the clothes, or grandma's being really frustrating and not wanting to sit at the table to eat dinner, but it's dinner time and so she's put into the chair a little bit too rough. Some of these kind of physical things can still and are physical abuse, but it's actually also less likely than financial abuse and undue influence. I want to start by saying that to be the victim of undue influence or financial abuse, there is not a necessity to lack capacity. Sometimes the relationship and the factors that surround it can still have grandma being financially abused or taken advantage of in a way that violates the law, and she's still able to make her own decisions. What are those scenarios? Well, think that grandma's lonely and she can't get out very much and she got her driver's license taken away and she just really wants to have conversations. That's all she wants is company and conversations. She also needs a little bit of help bathing. So you're like, okay, well, a caregiver, Nancy, made that name up, to come in and help grandma 3 times a week, shower and just around the house. And grandma loves when Nancy is there. They chat. Nancy's so nice. And over the time, Nancy says, oh, I can take your grandma out to Target to get some of the things that she needs. Oh, grandma said she wanted to get a slushie from 7-Eleven, so I just decided we would do that. Grandma wanted a milkshake. Grandma wanted to go to the wineries. Whatever it is, it's no problem. I'll do it. And the next thing we know, Nancy is really become the companion, and grandma thinks she has this fantastic friend because grandma's lonely and Nancy is always there and always willing. And then grandma starts wanting Nancy around more. But Nancy can't come because Nancy's having car trouble and Nancy's married to an asshole. And Nancy's life just starts to kind of fall apart. And grandma's hearing all about it. And grandma is so nice. And she just really likes Nancy because Nancy is always there. So grandma says, "Oh, I'll help you get your car fixed because I want you to come. And that's helpful for me. Oh man, you really need to leave your husband. He's awful. I'll give you the money for a down payment on an apartment, or I'll help with that payment for the retainer for the attorney." And slowly over time, Nancy starts getting more and more from grandma. "Oh, Nancy, it's okay. Your kids are so beautiful. Let's go to Costco. I'll buy your groceries. It's fine. It's just a little thing." And then Nancy says, "I just don't know what I'm going to do. I left my husband and I am destitute and I can't, yeah, I won't have anything and I'm going to be working forever and I have no retirement because he's so awful. He took everything from me and won't pay child support or spousal support. And oh, my poor me." And grandma says, "Well, I could leave you something in my will. I mean, I need my money now, but if I have something left over, like, Nancy, I'm happy to give you my car so that you can get to work. I'm happy to, nobody else is going to want it. I'm happy to give you some money." And Nancy's like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And so now grandma goes in and changes her estate plan, and Nancy is inheriting. But Nancy's a caregiver, so Nancy would never inherit normally from grandma. Is that undue influence? It sure can be. And oftentimes that is the scenario as we see it and sort of how it plays out. It's always Nancy. It's not always a caregiver. Sometimes it's the child. Oftentimes it's the child that says, "Oh gosh, mom, okay, you need somebody to come in and take care of you. I'll come and take care of you. I will sell my house and move in with you to be your caregiver." And they are. Child is steps up to the plate and is the caregiver and gets to live with mom for 10 years and sort of puts their life on hold. But there's other kids, siblings, they're like, "We really appreciate you doing that, Jim. That is fantastic. We would never be able to do it. We're so happy that you were able to move in and take care of mom." And then mom dies and Jim shows up with a will and it says that Jim gets everything. And the siblings are like, "Wait a second, but we loved mom. Mom loved us. We always had a relationship. Mom had dementia. We're not really sure why you're getting everything." And normally under the law, Jim wouldn't get everything. He would only get like 1/3 because his siblings would also get more. Similar to my other kitten. If you watched the last episode, you saw Scotty. This is Dior. So in both of those scenarios, we are looking at some kind of undue influence or financial elder abuse. These occur most commonly when somebody is taking advantage of a senior who has dementia, cognitive impairment, is just lonely, and is sort of manipulating their emotions for their own financial gain. I always look at it from the perspective of, would this person normally be getting it? If so, no problem. If Jim was always going to get the 1/3, he's a 1/3 intestate heir. That means he would inherit no matter what 1/3. And in the will that he had mom or grandma sign, he's also getting 1/3. That is okay. Not necessary, no harm, no foul, right? But if it's anything else, my starting point is always, what was the financial gain that they got that they otherwise wouldn't? And now let's look at the entire circumstances about how they got where they are. Some of the things that I also look at are isolation. What was going on in grandma or mom's life? I like looking at medical records. Was there regular care being received? What was happening in grandma's life? If it's still going on, we can go in and prevent it, right? We can get isolation restraining orders. We can get regular restraining orders. We can undo powers of attorney that were gotten incorrectly. We can get conservatorships. There's so many tools in place to prevent it. But if you don't find out about it until after grandma or mom has passed away, there's still things that we can do. It's always harder to get in front of it. But if it is too late, we didn't know that Jim went in and took all of the stuff. We didn't know that Nancy was getting $100,000 and the car. We can still help stop the perpetuation of the abuse. Some of the things that I recommend, if this is a situation that sounds familiar or is ringing true, call Adult Protective Services, call the ombudsmans. The difference is Adult Protective Services are for adults that are living within the community. Ombudsmans, I don't think I pronounced that correctly. They are for individuals who are living in assisted living or some kind of residential care facility. You can call law enforcement because did you know that the law enforcement actually has a lot that they're doing to try and prevent and prosecute elder abuse? I know. Report it to the police. You don't have any say whether charges are pressed, but you can certainly report it and have the detectives investigate. We can go into court on an emergency basis. We can get filings. We can get doctor's records. Everything that you can put together is really helpful if we have to go into civil court. So while civil court is an option, the more you can get together. And when I ask clients, I say, look, I want all of the people, list all the people that have personal knowledge that we're talking to grandma or mom. Let's get all of the lawyers. Let's get a list of all of the doctors that mom or grandma ever saw. Let's put all of this together in a place so we know where we're going to cast our net and we can put it all together. We can go in and get emergency orders. We can get temporary orders. We can ask for damages and for money to be returned. We can ask for so many things. There really is not a problem that I've come in contact with that we can't solve. It just comes down to timing and whether we want to or the family wants to. If you or someone you know might be the victim of financial elder abuse, undue influence, or really any kind of abuse, it's important to take action now. Report it to an agency. Tell somebody so that if we need to step in and do something, it can be done. You don't need proof to care. You just need some concern. We'll go ahead and get the proof later. But first, let's make sure that grandma is safe.
That wraps up another episode of Gavels Down, Voices Up. If you found value in our discussion today, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who needs these insights. Your engagement helps us grow and impact more lives. I'm Rachel King, thanking you for listening and reminding you to speak up because every voice deserves to be heard.